next thing I want to talk about is that the American political culture has a powerful aversion to testing whether a voter can find his ass with both hands and the lights on. We're not allowed to test whether a voter can read, whether a voter knows what the Constitution is, whether he knows checks and balances. Does he know any history? Does he know that there's 50 states, and what's the relationship between the power of the states and the power of the federal government? What is the relationship of the power of the presidency versus the power of the Supreme Court and the Congress? Can't test for any of that. The only test that people have used is to exclude people, which is unfair. But my God, I mean, when you take a look at the idiots that are out there, there's a poster of some guy talking. He wants to open up the economy during the pandemic and, get a Brian, you morons. That guy votes. Want to bet who he votes for? So we have this powerful aversion to testing whether or not someone is qualified to select people who will govern their lives. And then it follows that we have an aversion to testing whether those that we elect, those who govern our lives, have any knowledge of important facts. Trump would have failed miserably. Hillary and Obama would have passed with flying colors. They taught constitutional law. But, we need a lot more than, we have enough checks and balances in place that when Trump says, I have ultimate authority, everybody just says, no, you don't. And so we can ignore that. So I don't know that being a constitutional law scholar is the criteria for being elected president. I think the criteria is if you get word out of China that a coronavirus is multiplying rapidly, we need a president with enough scientific understanding, or a president with enough scientific understanding that it'd be a really bad idea to inject bleach or household cleaners, or to ingest hydrochloroquine or some fish tank cleaner. We need presidents with some scientific background. Now, we don't. And why is that? Well, I think it's Arthur C. Clarke, science writer, suggested that any sufficiently complicated technology is indistinguishable from magic. I gotta say that's true. So in the book Technopoly, Neil Postma says that he came in once with a box of chocolate eclairs and offered them to everybody in the office, and said that he'd been recently reading in the New England Journal of Medicine that chocolate eclairs have I can't remember what he called it, some goofy word he made up, that encomium, that chocolate eclairs had encomium, and that would prolong life and increase sexual fervor. So everybody just dug into those chocolate eclairs. And because, nutrition is a complicated enough science that it's magic to us. We don't know, is coffee good for you or is coffee bad for you? Is a glass of red wine good for you or bad? 2 glasses of red wine good or bad? Some say yes, some say no, experts, etc. So who are you going to listen to? So we have banks of experts telling us stuff. Okay, so vaccinations. Well, what do we do if maybe one kid in 10,000 ends up with autism as a result of vaccinations? But if you don't vaccinate, Then you get 30 kids in 10,000 who die of the measles, and 300 kids out of 10,000 who end up handicapped for the rest of their lives from measles. So, who makes these choices? How are you going to make these choices? It's all looks like magic to us dimwits who don't study enough science to make it out. So what we then tend to do is, remember the wizard in The Wizard of Oz? Well, we put our faith in some wizard. And, Donald Trump is this successful businessman, and he got himself elected president. So he's the wizard for a big part of our country. And for us blue folks, anybody but Trump is our wizard. And so we don't care about the failings of our wizard. We just know that dumb shit wizard, we got to get rid of him. And all the folks who follow the Trump wizard, they don't care about his failings, his pussy grabbing and his lying and his complete stupidity, in fact, approaching senility. They don't care because he's their wizard. They can't make sense out of this very complicated world. It's all magic. It's too sufficiently technological that it looks like magic. And so you got to trust a wizard. And that means you got to distrust the other wizard. What a pass we have come to.